I fell in love with India for so many reasons, and its people. But yeah, with India, I was just blown away by the sheer number of people that needed help, I suppose, or a more appropriate solution.
These are the slums of West Delhi. Tens of thousands of people living in abject poverty, surrounded by agricultural land, yet they can't access safe, affordable food. But one woman wants to change that.
We here in Sydney, those of us who can afford to go down to Thomas Duck's or Woolies and buy groceries that we feel like eating. I mean, we are the luckiest in the world, but that's just not a luxury that's afforded to the vast majority of people on the face of the planet. And with more sustainable practices, it can and should be.
It's Tuesday morning, and Kelly McJanet is driving from Sydney to Yarramundi at the base of the Blue Mountains.
Wow, manure!
But this is no holiday retreat. Kelly is going to check up on a revolutionary project. It's a simple structure, uses the sun's energy, and they've been in Australian backyards for the last century. But it's taken Kelly's incredible foresight to transform the humble greenhouse into a solution for social disadvantage and global food security.
My name's Kelly McJanet. I'm the Director of Food Ladder. We're a non-profit organisation designed specifically to address food insecurity and challenges around food insecurity that exist in disadvantaged communities around the world.
Food Ladder's story is relatively short, but it's been a dream run.
I came back from my first trip to India, very excited, wanting to get something off the ground here in Australia, and I spoke to the CEO of the Macquarie Foundation and asked for the name of the person who was doing social enterprise the best in Australia, and she gave me Alex Sheed's number. And yeah, I think it was Christmas Eve, and we spoke for a number of hours on the phone. And yeah, I had a job at the end of the conversation. We just clicked.
Kelly's co-director is Alex Sheed, CEO of Fair Business, which is the parent company of Food Ladder. Fair Business gives a leg up to social enterprises in Australia, though many people often mistake the work of social enterprise for charity.
Social business, social enterprise is fundamentally a business with a social purpose. So it doesn't even have to be a not-for-profit. In my mind, I think it should be, but it isn't in everybody's, and I get that. And the difference between a charity ultimately has no income apart from donations, effectively, in whatever shape or form that takes. So that's the difference. The difference between a social business is that you're running a business, so therefore you've got to be financially sustainable, you've got to break even or make a profit, but what you're doing is doing social good.
It's amazing how that, just having that open for those...
Far from the slums of India, Food Ladder's first project in Yarramundi is a lot closer to home, but it's already changing lives. Partnering with not-for-profit rehabilitation organisation 180TC, the greenhouse is providing horticulture therapy for men recovering from addiction and other life-controlling issues.
It gives the guys a new sense of hope, a new skill set, a really cathartic activity to do day to day. Gives them a sense of responsibility and reward when they have a greenhouse full of, beautiful flourishing vegetables. So it's a very tangible, tactile, cathartic activity, I suppose. Makes a lot of sense in therapy to be working with horticulture, and that's well documented throughout much psychology literature.
Justin Hawthorne has been with 180TC for 14 months. Recovering from a history of using and dealing drugs and involvement in outlaw motorcycle gangs, Justin says the greenhouse has had a profound impact on him and many others.
I think it's massive to be able to own something and really have a hold of something that it can bring life, really, to feed back into something that needs so much more.
Nearly 50 men live on site at Yarramundi. The greenhouse gives them a community to work and spend time with, but it's also earning them professional qualifications.
We've just had 15 young men only last week received their certification from the TAFE outreach program for urban horticulture, which is fantastic. So now, beyond their 12-month rehabilitation at the centre, they can go back out in the workforce and potentially get jobs where they wouldn't have been able to get them.
I think the TAFE course is excellent because it gives the boys a sense of hope that they are good enough to be able to sit down and learn something. I completed the first 8-week TAFE course. That made me feel that I can actually sit inside a classroom again, and so in the future if I do want to study or go to uni or anything, that I can do it. I think responsibility is nothing, because we've never really had responsibilities in our life, in our drug habits. We've really just tossed them all to the side, but this is setting disciplines in place and priorities in place for even the future of getting married, boys getting married. So responsibility to be a father and just little things like that is just like a small stepping stone. So yeah, that's what I reckon.
180TC was also the perfect opportunity to test the greenhouse model. But Kelly says there's no big secret to the technology.
It's not groundbreaking technology. It's very innovative technology, but it's done all over the world in any forward-thinking agricultural project. This is hydroponic closed-loop irrigation technology. It's just that we're giving the capacity or the capability to use this technology to the people who need it.
The greenhouses are largely based on aquaponic techniques. Nutrients tailored to the produce are mixed with water and then drip-fed to the crops, which grow in soil substitutes like cocoa peat or expanded clay, while the dehumidifier regulates the temperature. And all of this comes ready to go when the greenhouses are shipped flat pack.
I mean, you can make these things as complicated as you want, but effectively if you've got power coming from solar and you've got some basic pumps and then you've got a gravity-fed irrigation system and you've got nutrients, I mean, whether they're in a greenhouse or whether they're in flower beds with nets over them, whatever it is, you are just giving them the tools to be able to do it.
However, Kelly and Alex are both quick to point out that a huge amount of work goes into making the greenhouses user-friendly.
It is simple, but they're custom designed solutions, custom designed systems. So based on the climate, the setting, the diets of the people that we're helping, we design a system that suits those needs.
We've got really top-class horticulturists and greenhouse designers and experts in hydroponics and aquaponics. So we really know what we're doing, and there's partners out there in the world that would really want to work with us.
As it turned out, those partners would come knocking far sooner than expected. It was a touch of fate for Kelly, who always had India and global food security at the back of her mind.
Yeah, I always wanted to go back to India. I always wanted to do what I'm doing here in India. I knew that our approach would have massive implications and massive benefit over there. It was just a matter of how and when and why. So for me, meeting Anita and Shalab, or being approached by Shalab actually, was just wonderful, because it meant that we were able to kind of fulfill this dream without, in a way where we knew we were really wanted, where we were really needed. It was by chance, really.
In January, Kelly was contacted by Shalab Ahuja. As the co-founder of an organisation with over 16 years' experience working with slum communities in Delhi, Shalab is no beginner when it comes to poverty reduction. But as their efforts expanded, he saw food security as the next big issue. And he saw a partnership with Food Ladder as the answer.
I think I was very intrigued by the concept. So when I read about this project and I saw her website, I said, hey, this is great. I mean, you imagine you can growing food on roofs, on rooftops or balconies. I thought that was a great concept.
Together with his wife Anita, Shalab, a renowned engineer, runs the Delhi-based NGO Conserve India, a social enterprise itself, and one with an amazing story.
Conserve India essentially upcycles waste. We have trained people in the slums to pick up waste from the streets. Then we were fortunate enough to develop a technology that converts it into material that competes with leather. We make handbags and fashion accessories that we export to the West. And in the process of doing so, we ensure a livelihood for people who otherwise would not have got a job.
Anita and Shalab founded Conserve India in 1998 with one goal: tackling Delhi's crippling waste problem.
I mean, in Delhi, for instance, generates almost 8,000 tons of plastic every day. That's every day. And the municipal corporation does not have the capacity to remove all the 8,000 tons every day. So every day, Delhi gets dirtier and dirtier because waste is not moved away. So it's a huge problem.
And we have been working in this field for many years and trying to do a bit of collecting and sorting waste and making upcycle products to show sensitize the people that waste can be converted into beautiful products which can be used in our day-to-day life.
Conserve works with the poorest of Delhi's poor, a slum class whose livelihood depends on what has come to be known as rag picking. An informal link in Delhi's waste management system, rag pickers sift through Delhi's growing piles of waste, looking for recyclable products to be sold to waste management facilities. But with a life built around waste, there are dire consequences.
They work and live there. So they're spending their 24 hours with waste. So the kind of illnesses they get is also quite different from a normal person in India who would get.
From humble beginnings employing a few rag pickers, 16 years on, Conserve India now operates out of a large factory west of Delhi, in the neighbouring state of Haryana.
When we got the plot of land, it was all barren, the whole land, and we started building up because we were in a hurry to move, you know. So we were one of the first to build our factories, and in this whole footwear park, there are about 7,500 factories coming up. And in this 4 years, like at least from 5,000 factories have been built.
With the current production of around 4,000 bags every month, and the capacity for up to 10,000, the factory has allowed Conserve to dramatically increase the amount of waste they recycle.
Oh, we make all kinds of bags, the computer bags, the clutches, the messenger bags, I mean name it, all kinds of bags, and a little bit of interior products. Tire tubes, seat belts, fire hose, scrap leather, textile. I mean, any waste today I can create designs out of it.
However, the crown jewel in Conserve's work is the patented technology they call HRP, or hand-recycled plastic. Plastic bags are collected by the rag pickers and then delivered by rickshaw to the slum closest to Conserve's factory. There, the plastic is washed before being sorted into colours, using the universal language of Bollywood celebrities, as many migrant slum dwellers don't speak Hindi. Once sorted, the plastics are fused together using a machine Shalab invented, and one he keeps well hidden, to preserve his intellectual property.
So we came up with a technology that uses a mixture of heat and pressure to layer the several bags of plastic together, and that seemed to work pretty well. It used very little electricity, did not create any harmful emissions, did not melt the plastic, and the output was acceptable and a product that could compete with leather.
Conserve's move out of central Delhi was largely the product of unfortunate necessity, and it reflects the socio-economic and caste divisions that plague India.
Delhi has made a master plan and it wants to become like an international city like Paris and London. So there is really no place for slums in Delhi. Land prices have gone high because of building of malls, the metro. I mean, it's a big, rich city now.
The 2010 Commonwealth Games were the catalyst for one final push, which saw almost all of Delhi's slums demolished and the communities forcibly relocated.
So the slums were obviously pushed out, and Commonwealth Games became an excuse because it generated national pride. So it became that, you know, this is the cost of, it's a national games and India is very proud of hosting it. So they made it into a national issue. So when these slums were relocated outside Delhi, the public as such did not react to it because it felt that this was a small sacrifice for a national goal.
However, following the slum communities west has allowed Anita and Shalab to increase their workforce. Conserve directly employs over 70 current and former slum dwellers on the factory floor, and has allowed people like Shamim to move their families into surrounding villages with access to electricity, running water and basic sanitation.
मेरा काम जी कटिंग प्रोडक्शन का करने का है, लड़कों को ट्रेनिंग देना, कटिंग की ट्रेनिंग देना मेरा काम है यहाँ पर. पहले मैं था लक्ष्मी नगर में, फिर अब हूँ मैं पुरानी दिल्ली की साइड पे रहता हूँ. हाँ जी, बहुत इंटरेस्ट अच्छा लगता है.
It's also allowed Conserve to expand the social initiatives they run in the neighbouring slums. As well as providing temporary health clinics, Conserve has set up a school called Empowerment Through Education, which educates over 100 slum children.
My name is Savita. I read in class first. My school name is Empowerment Through Education.
Indians are, of course, like anywhere else in the world, I suppose, you think of the family first, and especially children. So when they see their children going to school, it's a very positive sign in their life, because they realize that there are a lot of opportunities in India, but they have missed out because of lack of education or not being financially included in our society. So they don't want the same future for their children.
Yet despite offering employment, skills training, education and health facilities, Anita and Shalab were acutely aware of one key issue they weren't able to address.
I would say in the slums, 100% there's malnutrition. They're not starving in the sense, it's not that they don't have any food for days. The problem is not that. The problem is they have very little food and very low nutritional value food.
People just go for basic foods. I mean, when you're desperate, you want food that's filling, you're not looking at nutrition.
Vegetables are often sold to the slum dwellers at inflated prices, carted out to the slums from Delhi's markets. But even here at Ghazipur, Delhi's largest fresh produce market, food safety is a major issue.
It is rainwater blocks. It is a very difficult problem.
The people are here not very, you can say, vigilance or active about the source of water outgoing. All sources of water outgoing are covered by the people throwing of the garbage. Okay. That's why all these things are here created, and as just you can say, as the season is about to start of rain, people start feeling sick. People start feeling sick about that. Again, the same thing is the same problem is they are going to face.
In August, Kelly spent a week in Delhi, visiting the slums and factory for herself, and finalised plans for an official partnership between Conserve and Food Ladder. Now, a custom greenhouse is on its way to Delhi and will be installed on the roof of Conserve's factory by the end of November.
It should supplement the diets of up to 200 people. We're yet to see exactly how many people it will employ, but we hope to employ about 50 people, not only through the greenhouse project, but hopefully down the track in manufacturing as well.
Food Ladder is currently in negotiations to move their manufacturing from Perth to Delhi. If they do, not only will the greenhouses be a third of their current cost, but Shalab is confident of using recycled plastics in the structural components of the greenhouses.
Ideally, Delhi will be the base of the main hub of where Food Ladder distributes all of its solutions.
And this is my whole excitement about manufacturing in India. This is the bit I really, really like, because I think that if we can manufacture it and then we can ship it out, and we've then got the chance to really do this on a major scale.
Really, the world is our oyster in terms of where we go and who we help. It's really about the need in the community, and I'll be governed by that. I'll be governed by where we're needed and where where the need is the greatest, and also by how much support we get, obviously.
Well, I think this could go anywhere. I think it could be a solution for famine, for refugee camps. It could go anywhere. Again, it's going to be reliant on partners. Again, if there's an organisation, a worldwide organisation that's really interested, fantastic.
For now, Food Ladder is about to start the next exciting chapter in Delhi. Shalab is confident it'll be a big success, but he also says it won't stop there.
I think Food Ladder in India can be very, very big. The partnership can create a whole lot of roof gardens or building gardens here, which can go a long way towards solving the food problem in India. I mean, the numbers are here. India has the numbers, it has the need, it has the capacity to grow it. If the technology works, you can see it mushrooming here.
As Food Ladder goes from strength to strength, there'll likely be setbacks. After all, it is taking on global food security. But Kelly and Alex aren't fazed.
You can just do what you can do, and what's in front of me is the opportunity to develop a business that feeds people in a sustainable way. So I think this is an enormous opportunity to make a dent in food security worldwide. Whether that's a big dent or a small dent, we'll wait and see.
I can't imagine doing anything else. I can't imagine. Yeah, I don't know. It just drives me every day. It's part of who I am now. There's actually no distinction, which is why I don't feel like I ever stop working. But at least I love what I do.